And Ms. Foley, you're all set. Have a good meeting.
Thank you, Seth.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Welcome to the August 19th conservation meeting. This meeting is being held virtual as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. The Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there is disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards to support and respect our community. And I think that's it. Jen, do I have to read that last part?
I don't know.
No.
Okay, cool. All right.
So I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as written, unless there's any add-ons.
I think we're good.
Yeah, no, I might talk about an enforcement issue, but we'll bring that up in administrative.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we got
Richard.
a second from Richard. Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Penny.
Yes,
She made the
Yes.
motion.
that's okay.
Okay. And
Yes.
Jen, yes. All right. Okay. So on to our first item on call to order. Do we need to do a roll call?
I think we did all that with
Okay.
the attendance.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah. All right. So our first item has been continued. And this was already opened.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
What's it continue to?
9. September 9th, we need a motion to continue it to September 9th.
Yeah, I make a motion, we continue Old Oaken Bucket, the cottages, to September 9th.
all right. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Eric.
That was Eric. All right. Brendan
Yes.
and Richard
Yes.
and Jen, yes. All right. Okay. 26 Gardner. Oh, this is the continued one.
Correct.
Okay.
We asked for some mitigation to be added to the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think James Garfield is on the call if anybody has any questions for him.
Yes, I'm here.
Great.
If you'd like, I could make a brief presentation of what's been done. Otherwise, I'm here for any questions.
Jen, do you want to cover anything that we're missing?
Yeah, no, I think that this is what we asked for. They had it on the plan. There was a report with more of the details of what plants and that information. So we'll have all that in the orders reflecting management of the pool water and the growing seasons, that we'll need to monitor so many growing seasons.
Okay.
So I'm good with this, and you can, if you don't have other questions, you can close an issue.
Okay. Let's go around the table. Richard.
Well, James, can you just tell us what you did add in as part of the mitigation? Brief form, but just some of the detail.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a 495 square foot area of mitigation. As Jen said, there's a separate report which details all the seed mix and shrubs that are going to be in that area. I believe it is just shrubs, if I'm not mistaken, on this one. But that was at the request of Frank at the last hearing. He said we didn't want to break the bank on this one.
Right.
So, yep, we've added that hatched area. We already had conservation markers on this plan. I think that was pretty much it. You guys almost closed it at the last hearing, but just wanted to see the plan in front of you tonight.
Great, thank you. I'm good.
All right, Penny,
Nope, all set, thank you.
Brendan,
I'm all set, thanks.
and Eric.
I'm all set. Thanks, James, for the updates. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
All right, and I think I'm good as well. So, Jen, were you saying close an issue or just close?
Close an issue.
I make a motion
Okay.
to close an issue on 26 Gardner Road.
A second,
All right, we got a second from Penny. Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jen, yes. All right,
moving on.
we are moving on. 327 Tilden Road, which was continued from August 5th. And this is Morse Engineering as well.
So it'll be James again.
Yep. So I'll actually give a brief presentation on this one for sure. Once it's up on the screen here.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so James Garfield, for the record, with Morse Engineering. This is a continued notice of intent for a detached garage. I presented this to the commission at the last hearing, and the commission had essentially 3 requests that they wanted from this plan revision. So as discussed at the last hearing, we've added a large mitigation area shown in a green hatch there on our site plan. The planting list associated with that area is at the top of the page. Per Frank's request, we've added 3 4-inch caliper trees, as well as I think it's 55 shrubs and a seed mix specification. This has a report associated with it as well. We were asked to provide conservation markers, which I've added 3 along the rear of the property just before that mitigation area, as well as the existing tree line. And it was also requested that we add some spot grades in the proposed gravel driveway just to ensure that runoff coming down from the street did not go right into that proposed structure, but will be diverted around it. So I believe we've satisfied the requests from the previous hearing, but I'm here for any questions you guys have tonight.
Great, thanks, James. Jen, was there anything that you wanted to highlight before we go around the table?
What I see is they put on this what we had asked for. So I'm happy with this information being in the orders about the mitigation area and so many growing seasons to observe it. And the spot grades are a good idea as well.
What is a spot grade?
It's just a specific elevation.
Oh, okay. Got it. I didn't know if it was like some sort of drain or something that I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
I think I said ass.
Yeah, just a little bit more detail, I guess, on the plan, just to clarify for whoever does the construction, just how they're going to grade this.
Okay. Eric, how about you start us off here?
I think this looks great. Appreciate the updates plan again, James. So thank you for that. The plant schedule looks solid, and appreciate the inclusion of that seed mix there to blend into the shrubs that you guys provided. So I'm good on my end. Thank you.
Okay. Brendan.
I have nothing to add. This looks great. Thank you.
And Penny.
Yeah, I just have a quick question because I can't see because I'm blind as a bat. Oh, put the arrow back where the arrow was. What is that? That kind of square? No, go back towards the planting area with the arrow. No, that square with the squiggly lines.
Up. There you
Yeah,
go.
right there. I can't read that. What is that?
I think that's a boulder. Am I
Yeah.
wrong? Yeah, okay.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I think it says boulders, so if there
Okay.
are any right there.
Oh, now I can see, it does say boulders.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
that's all. I was just curious because I couldn't read it. Thank you. I'm all set.
All right, Richard,
I'm good. Thank you, Jen.
okay. And I guess I don't know if if we normally call this out, but are you saying the 3 trees that will be in the mitigation area, or are they proposed for some other part of the site, just so,
I believe
Kinda.
those are in the mitigation area.
okay. Okay, um,
One other just quick clarification question on the car tent that is being removed
Yes,
and dealt with ahead of obviously the planting and everything.
that's correct. And whatever is below the car tent, whether it's concrete or what have you, will be removed as well.
Good.
Oh, so this isn't just like some carport you buy
It's
from.
this was discussed last time, but we don't know
Okay.
what's underneath. But whatever it is, just because it's totally locked up, I'm not sure what's underneath that tent. But we just wanted to preface it with saying whatever it is, we will be removing it.
Okay, I didn't recall
No, we did discuss.
there. No, I remember discussing the car tent. I didn't recall anything about a pad, like a concrete pad being underneath it. I apologize if I missed that. But if there is a removal of that car tent with a pad underneath, we are beyond the line. So I just want to make sure that that work does not have negative impacts on the BVW that it does encroach on. So I just, for clarification on my end, again, I apologize if we discussed the pad at the previous meeting. I just don't recall that.
Whatever's there is going.
Yeah, that's our stance on it at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we add a condition that if there is concrete, when it is removed, that erosion control goes in and they can coordinate that with the office.
Yeah, that sounds
Oh.
good to me.
Okay,
Yeah, just make sure that whatever is entailed in removing that car tent, pad or otherwise, if there is a little bit more involved, excavation underneath that upon discovery, that we just take the proper steps to ensure, no sediment transport into BVW. Other than that, we're all good. But I just wanted clarification on that, so thank you.
Don't go in.
okay. Um,
So we're gonna issue on this
No,
one?
no,
too?
Well,
Jen, don't you have to go to the audience?
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
I was wondering if, just given the history of encroachment here, if it might be appropriate to go from 3 conservation markers up to 5. I know this is normally kind of like the standard spacing. It looks great, but there is a history here. I don't know if anybody has thoughts for or against that.
I don't think it can hurt.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not as though we're asking them to erect something major.
Okay. Jen, does that seem reasonable to you?
yes, I can add that into the orders. It probably says somewhere what the spacing is already between
Oh,
them,
okay.
so
Oh, okay. Great.
I'm thinking I'll just adjust that.
Yeah.
Or I'll say the amounts,
Okay.
5 markers.
It doesn't hurt.
But let's see. So if anybody in the audience has questions, now would be the time to
And
press
Raise
the
your hand.
raise hand option.
And Miss Foley, I think you have no virtual hands raised.
No virtual hands. All right, so I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to close an issue.
Close and issue.
I'll second that.
Second from Eric. Brendan,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Jen, yes. Great,
Great, thank you.
Moving on.
okay, we're
And
moving on.
16 Brunswick, and we do need to open this one.
Oh yeah, I got my paper. Guys, big deal tonight. Papers. Eloise didn't get her hands on them. Okay. On August 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 of the Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the notice of intent application of Joseph and Erica Rocca for work related to the installation of a new septic system at location 16 Brunswick Street, Scituate, Mass. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information on how to access the virtual meeting will be available on the agenda posted on town website.
Yep.
All right.
It's James Garfield again with Morse Engineering for the record, representing the applicant for this project. Again, this is a notice of intent for a septic repair. This is a 5,600 square foot property currently developed with a 2-bedroom single family dwelling. It's currently serviced by a failing Title V septic system, and it lies within a barrier beach and FEMA flood zone AE elevation 13. We're proposing a new gravity-fed septic system consisting of a 1,500 gallon septic tank, 5 outlet D-box, and leaching galley trench. And yeah, we believe this system will be a vast improvement to this property versus what's currently there. So I'll take any questions from the commission at this time.
Great. Thank you. Jen, what are you thinking?
It has been approved by the Board of Health. They are good with it. I would say, usually we ask for a limit of work specifically to, I mean, I know it's pretty flat, but, we do usually ask for a limit of work around the area. That would be all.
Erosion control, is that what you're talking?
Yeah, I mean, erosion control, yes. And then, just to make sure that the
Mhm.
tree line and the brush line, like, nothing gets cleared there.
Right. Right. Okay.
I'm happy to, put something like that in the orders.
Okay.
Looks good.
Richard, you want to start us off?
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was by the house today and actually I've been aware that they would be needing to do this soon. I have no problems with it at all. I know the street very well. It needs to be done. It's no problem. I think it's well set up.
Great. Penny.
No, everything's on here that I can see that needs to be. Thank you.
Brendan.
No, I think I'm okay.
You're not sure today?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, but
You
for now,
know.
I'll just say I am.
Everybody, your feelings are important. Eric, how about you?
I am also good.
Okay. See, he knows he's good. He doesn't think he's okay. All right.
Leave Brendan alone.
Jen,
Yeah.
I just, for people who may not be familiar, Brunswick Street Extension is on the riverside of Humrock, not
Yes.
anywhere near the ocean. It's also close to River Street, very flat, not a lot of people around and almost no traffic. So that's why it's pretty safe and straightforward to say it's okay. In case the other guys who aren't used to this area were wondering about that.
Okay. Great context.
Yep.
And looks good to me, especially with Jen's inclusion of the limit of work. Do we have anybody interested in the audience? Anybody with questions? Now's the time to raise your hand.
And Ms. Foley, you have no virtual hands raised.
No virtual hands. All right. I
want-
will take a
What do you
motion.
want to do, Jen? Close the issue or just close?
Close an issue is great.
Okay,
make-
I make a motion, we close an issue on Brunswick.
And I'll, 16 Brunswick, I'll second that.
Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
All right. Eric,
Yes.
Brendan,
Yes.
Jen, yes. Great.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to 279 Gannett. We have to open this one.
Yes.
All right. On August 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700 of the Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the notice of intent application of Paul Tedeschi for work related to demolition and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling and associated appurtenances
Pertinent.
at, I don't know what that is.
Pertinences.
Can you say that again?
Pertinences. So
Pertinences?
it's site grading, it's
Okay, got it.
utilities.
Okay. At location 279 Gannett Road, Scituate, Massachusetts, abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information on how to access the virtual meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the town website.
And we have Darren Grady here to present the project. We are getting this reviewed. We don't have that done yet, but the thought was to get a sense of what they're planning on doing tonight.
Perfect. Is there any way I can share my screen? So I can use my pointer?
No, unfortunately, we can't do that.
Okay, I'll make it work.
Great.
So my name's Aaron Grady. I'm with Grady Consulting. I'm here on behalf of Paul Tedeschi. And the project before you is at 279 Gannett Road. The project has a wetland resource area for coastal bank, and those are the wetland flags shown on the screen. I think it's what I can see on my screen, WFA5 all the way to A7, WF SM3, SM4. So that's the coastal bank and salt marsh. The other resource on this property is the riverfront area. In the riverfront area, mean high water is labeled on this, and there's a 200-foot setback to that for the riverfront area here. The entire lot is within the riverfront area, and a majority of it is in the 100 to 0 foot area. The project before you is a raise and rebuild, and the house shaded in gray. We were looking at the alteration within the riverfront area. There's 41,500 square feet of area on the lot, all within the riverfront, and the existing degraded area is 10,983 square feet. So we're really trying to limit our impacts here, or alteration, as it's defined in the Wetlands Protection Act. And by doing so, we took pretty much just the house and the pool as our alteration. We didn't count the area that's within the existing house, or there's a brick area that's within the proposed footprint. We did not count that. So our total alteration is 2,850 feet. The driveway we are modifying. We're going to change it from gravel to like a crushed stone driveway, and we're going to use it as a stormwater management system. Under the regulations, this area would not count as alteration. It would be used just for stormwater management system that's required under the Rivers Protection Act. So the areas within the degraded can be restored at a 1-to-1 ratio, but the areas that are degraded on this site are all pretty much away from the river. So what we're proposing is mitigation in the form of a 2-to-1 ratio. And so the 2850 is the alteration, and we're proposing 560 square feet of mitigation. Those areas are shown in pink here. And we are also moving 6 trees that are shown to the bottom of the house where the pool is, where the front right of the house is, and there's 3 in the back that would be coming down. The mitigation areas are to be planted, and the plants that my clients have picked out are labeled on there. We have not filled this in as far as the quantities, and we can do so. One of the questions we did have that the client's interested in doing is there's a concrete patio behind the house where there's 3 trees shown there. Right now, it's proposed to be left because we're trying to minimize our alteration. They would love to remove that and put some grass or lawn there, but they didn't want it counted as alteration. So that was one of the things we were struggling with and did want to talk to you about. I believe the way that we have the alteration at 2850 and the mitigation at 5,760 square feet meets the intent and the rules and regulations for the riverfront area. The other portions of it are that we do have a silt sock shown along the property line, going from the left side over near the driveway where the recap is set, correct there, and it goes along the property line. And with that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
All right. And Jen has kind of already given a quick intro. Anything else you want to add before we go around?
Yes, I would say it might be one where we want to do a site visit. Just because to see everything that's going on. They are moving the house away. It's going over an area that was driveway before. And if you see the concrete slab, it goes all the way to the riverfront. So it would be something to talk about, like, a way to improve that area. But it might be something where when we do that, we have our peer reviewer with us so we can, be hearing from him as well.
Great point. All right. Penny, do you want to start us off?
Well, I'd just like to go on what Jen was just talking about, because I would hate to lose those 3 trees in the back. That wasn't there what you said, Darren, that you
That
were
is correct. They are close to the existing house. They I think a site visit might be helpful so you can
Yeah,
see
well,
them. Yep.
yeah, but it's just, we got the marsh right behind them. Yeah, we do need to get out there. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. That'll give us an opportunity to look at some alternatives as far as replacing
Yeah.
them also.
Right. Sounds good.
All right. Eric.
I think that there definitely is value in having a site visit, especially if there's a potential for 3 more trees to be removed on top of the 6 existing. I would also be curious to know what species of trees are being proposed to be removed. I do appreciate that Darren, you and your team have provided mitigation measures and replacement species for the proposed removals, as well as the Phragmites mitigation area, which, any removal of Phragmites in our waterway area is important. So I appreciate that effort as well. I definitely would be curious to hear about what the peer review report reads or says. And I am wondering, just looking at the plan, I understand that, the house is, moving farther away, but just relative to the deck and proposed pool, is there a way to get that out of the 50 in any way? Just that's the first thing that I saw, admittedly, when I opened up this plan, just where the proposed pool was, and if there was anything that we could do to work together to try and maybe push that farther out. Those are my big ticket items right now, just looking at it. I think it definitely will have, clarity upon the peer review and also a site visit.
I forgot to mention that we had presented to the ZBA. This is a non-conforming lot due to its frontage and also its the lot width. And the zoning board of appeals had approved the location of the new house and the non-conforming lot.
Does that have an impact on the proposed pool location as a result of both current lot lines?
I can review. I think maybe we can look at that at our site walk, and we can talk to the clients at that point, and I think we can see what we can do at that point, if that works.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at it, and if there are like offsets and stuff like that, even looking at it quickly, just a 90-degree turn could be something, instead of moving it farther towards Gannett Road, because I do see that the proposed deck attached to the pool has stairs going to the new house. I'm assuming that there is a design intent there. So I just want to be mindful of that as well. But just seeing, what options, might be available to us. Like you said,
No,
the
I
site
think,
visit might be best.
I think when we have that site visit, we can go over all that, and I think we can improve the site a little bit better than what is actually shown here. I know that was my client's intent at first, and reading through the regulations and the definition of alteration, it really pushed us away from maybe improving some areas, like removing that concrete patio all back. But let's talk about that at site visit.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Darren.
Brendan.
Yes, just to start off, there's a lot going on, but I really appreciate the mitigation on here. That it's included. I don't really have a lot more to add besides that, except that I would love to be on a site visit with this as well. So I'll just, for now, I just leave it at that. No other questions.
All right. Richard, did you go?
No, and I'm happy
Okay.
to, and I'll be quick. What Eric said, first of all, and second of all, I'll be happy to come to the mainland for a site visit if I can possibly do it.
Thank you, Richard.
And that's
You could
all.
almost take a boat, but it's a little hard to get to this. I
Uh,
don't think you can get under.
no, it wouldn't work
Gannett
too
Road.
good. Wouldn't
No.
work too good. But I'll get there if at all
Okay.
possible. I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these things would probably be addressed on a site visit, but I guess some of the proposed mitigation area, it's hard to kind of follow some of these lot lines, but it looks like it's off there.
That is correct. They're gonna get permission from the neighbors. They did talk to them about it. I'm not sure if they've submitted the letter from the neighbor just yet,
Okay.
but there was discussions, and the neighbor is looking forward to maybe having less Phragmites out near the river as well.
Yes.
And it looks like there's a couple sheds, maybe one is noted as dilapidated and another one doesn't say dilapidated and doesn't say it's being removed. Is that staying?
Yes, that one is staying.
Okay.
The dilapidated one's gone. The
Okay.
other one's staying. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I think this is a great candidate for a site visit.
Mhm.
So we've been around the room. It looks like we have now is the time if you have a question to use the raise hand feature. It looks like we have one person with their hand raised, although their name is administrator, so
I'll
not
help you
sure.
here. I'll help you here, Ms. Foley. Administrator, you should be able to unmute yourself, just your name, address, and go ahead with your question.
Terrific. Can you hear me? Okay, so sorry. This is actually Paul and Jill Tedeschi, the property owners. I don't know why I came up as administrator. I don't Anyway, and I won't keep you long. I appreciate all your time and what you guys do. Just to call out a couple things, and we can do some of this in the site visit. But go ahead, Jill.
We just wanted to start first of all with the 3 trees by the marsh. We did a couple of things. We are planning to do solar. One big reason for taking those down is when you do your site visit, you'll see they are leaning towards the house. There's many branches that hang over the house. We actually had an arborist come, and the middle tree, he said it's a matter of time before it completely dies. It's hollowed out in the middle. It's 3 sort of trunks together and the water collects in the middle. And he said there's no way to mitigate that. So he said it's actually dangerous to have that middle one. The other 2, we just feel like in order to do solar, and the solar will be on that side, it will really cut down on, our use of solar and
Yeah, and you'll also see the concrete kind of goes right up to it. So, but that'll be a great thing for your site visit to look at. Regarding the pool, it is a plunge pool. We happen to have been the second client ever to purchase a plunge pool in Cohasset. We have one now, and we worked with conservation there, but we know all the decking around it obviously will not be impervious. It'll be decking. And the plunge pool, we understand, typically is allowable, but go ahead.
And the reason we chose that specific location, we actually were trying to push it more towards Gannett Road. Our neighbor, really the only neighbor that's kind of near us, Barbara Robbins, is on the other side. And we're just trying to keep all of our equipment to the plunge pool side, all of the ACs, which were flood compliant, so we will raise them up. And we felt like the location of the pool needed to be there in order to fit the pool equipment, all the AC equipment, all the mechanicals in front of it towards Gannett. And that was out of respect for not putting it closer to our neighbor on the opposite side.
And just to call out Eric's question about the stairs, it's because we're a flood compliant home in the AE12 and because of the elevation raise that we have to do, we'll have no basement obviously, but the stairs would get us down to that area. So again, we're open to the thoughts, but that was the plan around it. And yes, Barbara Robbins, who's grown up there, she's in her 80s, she's been fantastic, but she has given us permission. So we just need to know what form of documentation you need from the commitment she's given to us to mitigate on her property. But it was nice of her to do because obviously the 200-foot Rivers Act was threw us for a little loop. And obviously, we're glad that Darren and his team were able to meet that 2-to-1 offset. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of give those comments, but we can certainly wait and would appreciate the site visit.
Awesome.
So I think this is one we need to continue.
Yeah. For many
When
reasons.
do you want to continue it to, Jen?
Well, we happen to have a pretty big agenda on the 9th with some filings that came in. And especially the Old Oak and Bucket one is now on for the 9th. So I know the 23rd, I think it's the 23rd. I know it sounds a long way away, but I think we'll end up being very prepared for it.
Well,
should
it
be able
will
to fit
have
in a
enough
site
time
visit very
to the
easily.
site. visit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want a motion, Jen Foley?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue 279 Gannett Road to September 23rd.
All right, can I get a second?
I will
I'll
second that.
second that.
Oh,
Ah,
Brendan, I think Brendan got it. Eric,
Yes.
okay. I'm glad you're still on board. Richard,
Yes, and I would add that we should do what we can to get something scheduled for that site visit. We've got plenty of time, but it'll go fast.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
does go fast.
Yep.
You need
and Jen, yes. All right.
moving on.
Yes. We are moving on to okay. I'm gonna read something. On August 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Meeting will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 of the Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for an after-the-fact request for determination of applicability filed by the Massachusetts Electric Company for utility work along Hatherley Street.
Hatherley Street.
Hatherley, well, it says Hatherley Street, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the town website.
I'll quickly note that this is not an after effect, that is erroneous in the advertisement.
Okay.
That's not my fault. I also take all the blame there.
And it's not Hatherley Street, it's
Hatherley Road.
Just so you know.
Yeah, duly noted.
Okay.
All right. What's Jen, do you want to kick us off or do you want to turn it over to the applicant?
No, I think we have Nate here to talk to us about the project. It's a utility pole replacement. So I would say what we're looking for is how will the work be done, especially in the areas where it is in the resource area. Just making sure that it's, you know, either being done street side or however it's being protected. But it's a pretty big one, actually.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot going on.
Do you want me to talk upon it?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay, perfect. I don't think I can actually show myself. I'm trying to enable the video. Is that something you do on your end or?
No, we share our screen.
Okay. All right. For the record, Nate Goshgarian with LEC Environmental, presenting on behalf of the applicant, which is National Grid. So yeah, this is a huge project footprint, but I am happy to announce that the vast minority of this is actually within wetland resource areas. I actually ground truthed this entire project footprint. It is the replacement of 181 utility poles. I'll underline that replacement. There is no expansion to this footprint. We are not introducing any new types of poles. And so the blue rectangular icons on the sheets are the areas that we can eventually zoom in as we scroll down, which is going to show the approximately 5% of utility poles being replaced that are actually within bordering vegetated wetlands, within previously developed barrier beach / coastal dune, and within riverfront area. So this is our first example. This would have been in the northwestern vicinity of the sheet we're just looking at. P33. This is literally 1.5 feet off the side of the road. Initially, when you're looking at Mass GIS, sometimes they depict these conservatively, so it's kind of always important to be more inclusive than exclusive in these situations. We've got the blue line, which is showing our riverfront area to the west and to the east. We've got our 100-foot buffer zone to BVW, which is in yellow, and we can see that P33 essentially resides right on the cusp of bordering vegetated wetlands. The two poles, as we look to the right, are the ones that are technically within barrier beach and coastal dune. Again, if we typed in 150 Manhill Road on Google Maps and looked at the street view and looked north or east down that road, you would see that as an extremely compacted, previously developed road. This is not coastal dune or barrier beach in kind of the pristine sense as we might think when we initially hear that term. So that's P33, P34-84, and P34. That's 3 out of 9. If we scroll down to the second image, we're going to see two other poles that are along Hatherley Road, never Hatherley Street. The green, the lighter green is kind of the revisions that I made when I was actually on the ground and pulled the wetland line in. found an approximated delineation, but if we had marginal soils and hydrophytic vegetation, we included it. We've got our 100-foot buffer, those two poles on the south side of Hatherley Road. I think that's it for that image. We can go to the next one and see our other collection of poles to be replaced. So to the north of Egypt Avenue, we have a PVP. We see that P22 is just on the cusp of BVW. P21 is definitely just outside of it. And then P17 is to the northwest, is one of the poles to be replaced that was within Barrier Beach / Coastalton. If we go down to the next slide, we've got our other collection. This is at the southern terminus of Bradford Ave. This, just like all the other ones, are literally kind of on the down gradient end of the street. So to the point that was brought up initially, how is this being done? All of these poles are easily accessible from the road. There is no need to have to go into the BVWs whatsoever. So the trucks can be parked right there. I've seen these extractions in person, and I use the word extraction because it's extremely precise. And they usually wrap the project footprint with a staked silt sock and sometimes silt fence, depending on the gradients. So if we scroll the last one, if this isn't the last one. Okay, another situation, we see the initial, the mass GIS mapping, and then the lighter green is the observations we made on the field. So we're in this case including P116 and P119. So to kind of have a better depiction or idea of what this actually looks like on the side of the road, although I'm sure nobody is struggling to envision this. If we scroll down, we've got the relevant pictures for each pole that is being replaced within BVW. Or maybe it's not on this attachment, but with the RDA, we provided individual images of the poles in the resource areas. So that's really it for my presentation. A very large project footprint with a very small amount of poles that are being replaced that are actually within protected wetland resource areas. And that's it. Happy to take any questions.
Great. Thanks, Nate.
Yep.
Jen, do you want to give us any thoughts?
He's covered all of my questions, so I would say, assuming once everybody else's questions get answered, it would be a negative determination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eric, do you want to start us off?
I think my questions were answered, specifically with the extraction method, and then just any protection around that area. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Richard.
Well, Nate, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm sorry if it's just because I'm not well informed, but I'm assuming that the poles that are there are connected to something. So does it mean that you have to dig a separate hole so that you have something to reconnect stuff to, or how does that work?
From what I've seen, the initial kind of disassembly is removing the wires and then pulling out the pole on its own and kind of getting that out of the picture and then inserting the new one. So I think maybe to your question, there is no secondary hole. It's the initial one that is used and then kind of basically refortified or compacted.
Right.
And the entry of the second one subsequently.
So the wires are disconnected. Does that mean people in the area are disconnected temporarily?
I don't believe so. No, that'd be a pretty massive discontinuation of power.
That's the only reason I'm asking.
That's a good question, though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I'm good then. Thank you.
Great. Penny.
Nope, I'm all set. I have great faith that they know what they're doing. And we'll do it quickly and properly. Thank you.
Wow. Nate, that's quite the compliment.
Wow.
Brendan.
Yeah, I have no additional questions. Thank you.
You also have great faith.
My questions are all answered. Richard took my question.
That's a first.
All right. Anybody in the audience have questions? Now would be the time to raise your hand.
And Ms. Foley, you have no virtual hands raised.
Nice. All right. I will take a motion.
So this is, I make a motion for a -3. This is an RDA.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I'll second that. Brendan.
Nice. Richard,
Yes, I'm good with that.
Eric,
Yes.
Jen, yes. Okay,
All right. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Good night.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question? Did I somehow miss 327 Tilden Road is a notice?
We did it.
What? I'm out to lunch. Thank you.
Jake did it. Jake took care of it.
Oh, I believe it's just, I don't know why it's still sitting. Thank you.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
see here.
But Penny, I thought I would be the one to do that.
Well, no, I get confused. Leave me alone, Richard. I'm getting old, like you.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
53 Border Street tree planting plan.
Yep, we were waiting on, we had asked them to provide a tree plan. They had taken some trees down that they shouldn't have taken down, so they have provided that plan. Penny, Frank, and I went to visit the site to kind of talk to them about where they were planning on putting the trees. So we had seen that and discussed it. So these are where they, where we had discussed. And the holly tree that they specifically, that was a specific order protecting it. They've, that did get taken down. They have replaced that with three hollies that they have planted. So we wanted to accept this tree plan so they could go forward with planting the rest of the trees.
And Jen, just to clarify, I do not believe they are the ones that took the holly down. I think the holly was taken down before they
came in,
property
right.
over.
But just it was part of the
Yeah,
plan. You're right.
yeah. But they were shocked when I told them the size of that tree that came out of there. So it was like, we never saw it. But anyways, yeah, they really seemed as though they want to work with us to make this as nice as it can be.
Yes, they have been easy to work with and very communicative with us.
Yes.
That's the right word.
Can I ask a quick question? Are the 3 trees planted and then we're waiting to get permission for the others or to get confirmation of the others?
Correct. They've planted the
Okay.
3 hollies. The
Okay.
other, they were waiting for permission before they plant it.
Got it. Thank you.
So Jen, do we need to vote on this? Or
I do think that it would be good if we voted to accept this tree plan. I think there might have been a little bit of a report also sent. Well, it wasn't a report. It was just a 1-pager listing them out. So the same information's on here.
Am curious on 2 things specific to the plantings. First, the hollies that were removed, do we know if they were the native Ilex opaca? And then
no,
if so, were they replaced with native holly, or were they placed with anything from the nursery? I think that's my first question. I guess it doesn't really matter. They're planted now. That's more of a curiosity. And then the second thing I'm curious about is we do try to ask for native species generally with these plantings. And if the 3 Coosa dogwoods could be replaced with Cornus Florida rather than Cornus Coosa. Cornus Coosa is a Japan, China, Korean native variety of dogwood. And if we could replace that on the plant list with Cornus Florida, the native variety of dogwood, I think that would be better. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Yes. Yep.
Good. Okay. I think that's what they were looking for. And like I said, they have been real.
We can have them update the list, definitely.
I'm sure they won't mind the change, Eric.
So
Yeah,
let's
I don't want
wait
to be
and
a,
get that change and then we can vote to accept it.
Okay. Sounds good to
Or
me.
unless you want to just say that now, like we can accept that with this
Yeah,
change in the
that would
dogwood.
be
I
bet-
think
that
that
would be
would
better.
work.
Less steps.
yeah, I'd be fine with
Okay.
that. Just upon those changes, we accept.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we accept this tree planting plan of theirs, and we do have the one exception of the dogwood. I don't know. I can't pronounce it, Eric.
Cornish, Florida.
All right, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna accept this. Somebody want to second it?
I'll second it.
All
Oh,
right. Brendan,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Jen, yes. Updates, Route 3A improvement, order of conditions.
Yes, had some language changes made to the order of conditions, and I just wanted to communicate those before we made them official. It can be done administratively, but I did want to share them before formally sending them off and making those changes. They seemed administrative to me. It's something we could not have to do an amendment to or anything like that, but just there were people interested in this project, so I did want to make sure it was communicated that there was some language changes to the orders.
okay.
So there's nothing to vote on there. I just wanted to let you know, and if anybody
Okay.
has any issues, to let me know. It's definitely.
No, I don't anyways.
So the one thing that
Mhm.
I definitely noticed was the striking. Maybe I'm reading the wrong document, so I apologize. There's the two that were sent
Yep.
modify, and then the other
original.
document with no
Okay.
modify. So we're removing no salt, chemical, or de-icing compounds, and we're removing no chemical fertilizer, herbicides, or pesticides.
The salt part was, they didn't want there to be any confusion with the treatment of the road.
Oh, okay,
If
that makes sense.
So I mean, we talked about how, well, that's not the intention. You're maintaining the road. We're talking about where you're like keeping your equipment. But
Right.
so that's kind of how that conversation went. And then the other one about the herbicides, this is what happens. I don't have that right in front of me. We don't have to make, however I have the change there, it doesn't have to be exactly that way. And quite honestly, we can just keep it in if that's preferred.
Well, it was just interesting that that was a potential change, because that's typically in all of the orders anyways.
Right.
So I just didn't know if there was a specific reason for that one. And then even with number 35, construction shall remain in stable condition with erosion controls inspected. Is that? I guess I'm just wondering why some of those.
That one we figured was repetitive from another order, so we didn't want anything repetitive to make things
Okay.
confusing. I'm trying to get back in my thoughts on. I think for
It's okay. It says not
yeah.
applicable, so I'm assuming they just weren't planning on using any of them anyways. I just didn't know if that was the reason, and I was just assuming that, or if there was something else. But I don't mean to make you.
No, I am
through.
happy people are looking at it, and I have it out. Just didn't have it open in front of me. I will double check that one and look at their email with why they were even suggesting that it's not applicable.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Yep. Jen, you let me know.
Will you minor modification? What's that? For 89 Rebecca?
For 89 Rebecca, I'll unmute James Garfield. They would like to extend their deck. I think it's about 4 more feet. It'd be the same number of footings, just moving 4 feet closer to the seawall. It's all a cement patio underneath of it. So I wanted to put it to you guys if that is to accept as a minor modification, or if anything else is needed.
James?
Do you want me to speak to that at all, Jen?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered most of it. The only thing I'd like to add is just the reason that the applicant is requesting this, and it's just the two direct abutting houses. Their decks line up right where he wants to bring the deck with this change. So the additional 4 feet is just to bring his deck in line with the two direct abutters. Besides that, I think you covered most of it. We're not increasing any pilings, and all the work is on top of ground cover, which consists of poured concrete that's already there. So we don't believe this changes the nature of the project or really disturbance of the ground below. So, but like I said, I think you covered most of it, Jen.
Richard, do you have any questions,
No,
thoughts on that?
he actually, James just answered the one question I had, that it's that the patio is already out that, if I'm understanding him right, the patio is already out that far, so it's just extending the deck out over it. Have I got that right, James?
That's correct.
Yeah, then I'm good.
Yeah.
Penny,
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Eric,
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
and Brendan.
Brendan. I'm all set as well.
I had to look at my checklist.
Okay.
All right. Certificate of compliance.
For 153 Gannett Road,
Yeah.
this was a septic project.
Yeah.
It is good from my end.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on that.
No, but do we have to vote on the minor modification?
I don't,
So,
I think we can all say, I
Okay, well,
let's say
I
yes.
make a motion, Richard.
make a motion to accept the minor modification for the amendment request for 89 Rebecca Road.
I'll second that, Richard.
Thank you, Penny.
Oh, you're welcome.
You guys realize I do keep track right here of like who says it and then a second. Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jen, yes. Mainly so I don't forget somebody. And we talked about the certificate of compliance.
Next will be the minutes.
I did read the minutes, and I didn't see anything wrong with them, other than I think I pointed out, and I think I heard that it was going to be true, that the dates will actually be put in as to when something is filed and accepted and all of that.
Well, wait a minute, you're confusing me.
So like on our, I think you saw, okay. Like on the orders of conditions that we're writing, we're putting the dates of
Yep.
closing and issuing on those. Yes, that's
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I just didn't. I just usually.
You were getting to
look-
the juice part
yeah.
of it at the end.
Yeah, the juicy part. All right, so what we have, I can't even read this, so Richard, can you read? Because I can't see
What
it.
am I reading?
The dates of these minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure, of course I can. 8/13/24, 8/5/24, and 5/20/24.
Okay, I'll second it.
all right, Eric,
I approve.
you approve. How exciting. Brendan.
I concur.
Oh,
man.
thank you.
Oh my word, this is going.
And I'm just gonna say yes. And it's really good that that was like the last official item because I'm at the end of my note paper.
Well, can we please talk about one enforcement
Yes.
issue?
Yeah.
Well, I don't need to take motions on that necessarily, so we're good.
No.
Can I ask Richard a question real quick? Did you say something was wrong with the minutes?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. All right. I was like, well, I can fix it. Something's wrong. All right. Great.
No.
I think he was asking about the dates of voting to close and voting to issue,
Yep.
that being in the orders now, that we're putting that in the conditions.
Sure
I
is.
was, and I
Okay.
now realize that it didn't belong with the minutes, but I'm sorry, you know.
Well, it's
I told you it
all-
was late.
all part of the, what we're doing with the documentation.
Perfect.
109 River Street, it came up last summer, actually, when new house had been built. They got their certificate of compliance, and then a fence went up, and we did get a complaint about it. The homeowner was sent a letter, and a minor activity permit was, or an after the fact minor activity permit was issued for the fence. And in our language for fences, we do ask that there's a gap underneath of the fence. That's for all fences in an area jurisdictional to conservation. This
For
fence
water and-
goes, I would say not only touches the ground, but
It's in the
seems to
ground.
be in the ground.
It is.
Buried.
So a letter has been sent to the homeowner. I've gotten the green card back. I haven't heard from them. I haven't spoken directly to the homeowner yet, but did want to give the commission I guess an update on it, ask for any input, thoughts, questions about
Jen?
it.
Jen,
Yes.
since I've seen it and it's down the other end, but it's in Humrock.
Yeah.
It is in the ground. It's wrong. I don't know if they asked for it to be in the ground or if the fence company put it in the ground because they pretended not to know the rules, but most of the fence companies around here know the rules. So I don't know who might be at fault or how it happened, but it's got to be addressed. Absolutely. That
got a
causes the
chainsaw.
neighbor major issues.
I got a chainsaw, Richard.
I'm sorry?
You
She
read
has a,
Oh, a chainsaw.
Um,
I'm sorry. I got it now.
well, that would be my request. Hopefully I get to speak to the homeowner.
Right.
If not, I can follow up with a letter saying the request is to install it correctly with, an appropriate gap at the bottom.
But as I said, honestly, most of the fence companies that are down here know the rules, know they're supposed to leave a gap. So just throw that out there for what it's worth.
Okay.
Jen, is there a time frame that we should be given?
For them to get
Given
back
the-
to you, Jen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it go for 6 months.
We can give them a time frame. Yes.
I think you should.
Please.
Oh, and there is someone raising hand.
Yes. Maureen Hurley is the
Oh.
attorney representing the person who made us aware of the fence. So I'm going to unmute Maureen.
Unmute, and I have
Okay.
to hit start video. I don't know. No video. That's the
Yeah.
unmute.
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Oh, okay. So Maureen Hurley, and I represent Walter Doherty, who lives beside the 109 River Street. You're 111, right?
Yeah.
And he did send a letter last summer because, and I think some of the members have probably seen the video of this fence that's channeling the water over to his property. And as you said, there was a after the fact permission given to him to fix it, but rather than do it, he put in a gate. He just failed to address it. And my client tells me that there was, in addition to this fence, there is a garage, and I kind of asked about this, and so my real position was I think I wanted to see if board members could come out and take a look, because not only is there a fence that's sending water over to my client's property, but there's also a garage. There was garage doors and siding was put up all around the pilings. So my understanding of the pilings is that it's supposed to be able to let the water flow freely and the sand shift freely, but it's not doing that anymore because it's now being used as a room, as a workshop and a garage. And initially the contractor did put, just as you had ordered, the board stopped maybe 6 inches above the sand, but the homeowner went out afterwards and put them right down to the bottom. So I think he knew that, I think the actual contractor understood the regulations said you can't do it, but the homeowner went out and did it. And I know you have already told him to fix it, and he's kind of just ignored that. And so I really wanted the board to come and take a look on behalf of my client. But secondly, there's a house on the other side that also just put pilings in, and they're about ready to go up. And they've kind of talked about that they're going to have this garage and they're going to do this, and they're going to copy what was done on the other side. So my client's in the middle of I'm very concerned for his property, that all this water is going to be channeled over, and that people are just, not following the orders of conditions as they should be. So I don't know that just a letter to this man. I think it's time for an enforcement order.
Well, we send the letter first, and if he doesn't respond, when did you send the letter, Jen?
I sent it within the last 2 weeks. I got the green card back last Friday.
Okay, so by this Friday, if you don't hear from him, I'd say go with the enforcement order.
But this is the second letter too. I mean, there was a letter last.
No, I understand, but we, if we just got the green card back, give them a week to get back to us. And then I'd send Craig down with the enforcement. And then we can all traipse down there and see what's going on. I think what Maureen is saying, that the skirting that they put on, they got a room underneath the house.
Yeah, and it's also, what it's doing is, I think it's a combination of the fence plus that is directing all this water off of his property, which is what he wants, and onto my client's property.
Yeah, here we go.
And essentially have an additional building area under there. And I think the man is well aware that it's not permissible.
We need to go look at what he's done.
She's not exaggerating.
Jen, well, because I'm wondering, is what's underneath now the house? Is it a cement foundation, underneath between the pilings? Did he put cement down? Because
no, I don't think. No, I think it's still sand, but it's all enclosed, and so the boards come right down that he put on the pilings right into the sand.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if we're talking about obstructing sediment and cobble flow, water flow, if there's anything being stored underneath there that is
I think
a hazard.
As a workshop and a 2-car garage.
Well, I mean, to my point, it's if there are things being stored under there where in a storm situation and there is flowage and there are contaminants underneath that house that could potentially disrupt resource areas adjacent to, then we're talking about multiple issues, not just the fence, which I'm sure, is something that will be addressed. We've all seen the video, but if there's other things going on here, then I think that further investigation needs to happen, because we need to make sure that everything is as it should be.
Yep.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
We'll get on it.
Thank you.
Here we go with the skirting, and we've got to get a policy
This is
on it.
worse than skirting.
Oh man.
Anything else under kind of agent updates, Jen?
No.
Cool.
I have one happy thing to report.
Okay.
At Mordecai Lincoln, we put out feelers. Michelle and Jim Bordeaux's office, the TA's office, put out feelers for benches, for memorial benches.
Right.
30 responses for 2 benches. So I'm very excited. So that will be going forward shortly.
They cost what, $4,000 each, roughly?
Yeah, and then you have to pay for the installation.
Okay.
But and they're very nice benches. They're that Brazilian hardwood, and I was just so excited when she told me. She said I couldn't believe it, how many responses she got. So that's a very positive note.
That's great.
Yeah. Yep. So all's going. Okay. And anything else we need to do?
I think we're good. I'll take a motion to close.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second
right.
that.
Good.
Brendan seconds
Brendan.
that. Eric,
Yeah.
Richard,
I'm good. Thank you.
and Jen. Yes. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.